All right, good afternoon, PittNUG members. Today's presentation is streamlining custom and complex NetSuite integrations with Saasoro. And Bashir is going to do the presentation and he can introduce himself. And Bashir, go ahead and take it away. I'll be on the sidelines and I'll let you know if I see any questions. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rhonda, and thank you everyone for joining us today to learn a little bit about Saasoro and how we can help you improve your data experience. I'm Bashir. I'm the head of marketing here at Saasoro, and with me I have Jeff and Rudy, and they'll join us a little bit later on the webinar. But I'll just go ahead and get started. Today, we'll just go over a quick intro, and then we'll dive right into a little bit more about integrations and how we handle those, and what that means in terms of time to market for you and your team. And after that, discuss a little bit about how exactly we are able to achieve the integrations and the advantages with Saasoro. After that, we'll discuss a couple case studies and case scenarios, and we'll end with Q&A and provide some contact information so you can you have a way to contact us and schedule a call, discuss your needs in a little bit more detail. And we definitely do encourage you to jump on the chat, ask away any questions you may have. And this is why we're here. We want to make sure that you get some value out of this, and we appreciate your time. So well, who we are a white glove service. We provide custom integrations and automations. Our team is made up of a computer scientist and data scientist, all experienced with NetSuite across various industries. And we employ more of a customer-centric philosophy. We've been in your shoes as well. Like all the time, we go through demos and we go through these webinars as well. And we want our vendors to treat us a certain way. We want and we want to return that to you guys as well. We want to treat you guys the same way. So we're very customer-centric, and all of our clients are very unique, and we tailor the services accordingly. And so Saasoro. Saasoro is a powerful data integration engine built on a universal platform, which is powered by AI. It allows us to connect to everything. So in your instance, with NetSuite, you can simply integrate any and all of your existing systems, whether it be a legacy system, whether it's a homegrown system, a complete custom system application that you built for yourselves, or any point solution system you may have, we can connect it all. And you can see we highlighted payment solution at the bottom. This is one of our advantages with our system. You can connect any payment solution. So any of the systems that you're using, you don't need a second vendor to integrate all your systems for you. We can do it all here in Saasoro. So Saasoro is a hub. It's built on this universal architecture. It's a hub-spoke model. What that means is that we in the center, we live here in the center on the cloud in an encrypted space, secured space. You connect to any of your systems, and then we and that's including NetSuite, any other hardware, any document exchange like EDI, any databases, any CRM, like I said, any payment solution. We aggregate that data into our cloud environment. And this is where all the magic happens. This is where based on your requirements, we configure the integrations, we configure the automations, and we pass that data through to whichever destination designated. So in this case would be NetSuite. One benefit to this is that the encrypted space that we work with, it's out of the box HIPAA compliant. So if you are in the healthcare space or any kind of compliance issues that you must adhere to, we are able to help you with that. And true to NetSuite's promise, sometimes it falls short a little bit. I mean, there's limitations to it, right? But with this, you're able to get a true full 360 visibility of all the data. That's including financial, operation, and customer data. You get standardized data across all of your systems. You can automate any process. And again, I'll keep going back to payments. That transactional data can be automated and incorporated into any workflow with any of the data here that you see. And again, it provides the privacy and security that you see. And all of this can be done in as little as 2 to 4 weeks. And again, this is a customized, complex scenario. So we're able to manage the demand of big data in terms of volume, velocity, and complexity, as well as adapting to its dynamic nature. And all again, it's out-of-the-box compliance, low cost of ownership, and we also handle non-standard data. We're completely data source agnostic, and that's how we can connect to anything. But also, we don't care what the data is. We're able to connect to any type of data, structured, unstructured. So you're talking about PDFs, XLS, XML data, and really allows you to have a more of a centralized governance over your data. And how all this is done with the magic of Saasoro, that HubSpot model and centralized data object allows us to handle all the complexity of the connections and the integrations and minimize the number of connections and minimize the cost. It allows you to get more out of your data. This is where, again, this is where all the work is done. So all the data is enhanced. This is where the transformation happens. You can augment the data, and upon validation and error checking, everything is then transferred to your destination system, whether it be NetSuite or if you're using data warehouse or Snowflake or anything like that, any analytical system, you can send the data to that system. The data engine here goes beyond the simple data type conversion. So this is where a lot of the business logic applies here as well. So you can see a couple of benefits here coming up here in a second. But once you have all this data integrated with Saasoro, it allows you to uncover the full potential of your data. There's a lot of data that you now have access to, and you have pretty much full control over this data, and that allows you to incorporate and leverage this data and problem solve across your entire organization. And one thing,
maybe share. I do have a question from a couple of members. They said that when they go onto your website and they click Oracle NetSuite or any other ERP, they're brought to BIP.io. What is this?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is that was our initial brand. We changed the net brand name. And yeah, and so that is our new brand. We've been around for a little while, and we decided to change the name of the brand, and that's the
so is that on your website up to date, or you're saying it's not up to date yet with the IPO?
No, it should be up to date. I think that's an error. Yeah, we have to work with our development.
I get it. I understand that. I've had issues with my website when I make some changes, so understand. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a great. Thank you for pointing that out, by the way.
Yeah. Now you know there's a little error there. So
yeah. So yeah, we cover full potential data. And there's an example of the case study here that we're going over real quick. And all this allows you to reduce the data transfer costs. Sometimes you have scenarios where with Amazon Web Services or any other cloud services, you get a surprise bill because the traffic data is increased just because of the bad integration. And not only you have to pay for that integration, but now you also have these indirect costs associated with it that are just going to be hindering your efforts. So with Saasoro, you can see here, when you compare it to Celigo with an API workflow, in that scenario where your business, you have multiple storefronts, let's just say one of your e-commerce platforms on eBay, you make a sale, the sale data and the customer data, all that gets updated for the inventory number to be updated in NetSuite or elsewhere. That information is broadcast across all the connected systems because there's no business logic applied with Celigo. So in a sense, you get 6 entry points and 1 exit here, but and all these entries result in a higher data transfer and egress costs. But with Saasoro, you have a 1 entry point and 1 exit point. So all of those systems, that hub spoke model, all of the systems are connected to Saasoro, and then Saasoro manages all those connections. So whenever there's an update from one system, it doesn't require that data doesn't require to go to any other system but Saasoro, and Saasoro manages and routes that data based on the logic to then send to the destination. So in this way, it's minimizes the number of connections and minimizes the data transfer costs. And again, when we talked about customized integrations. So when you're working with Celigo as an example, and you go beyond the standard integrations, when they build a custom integration, they're in fact custom coding these integrations. And along with that comes all these issues. These are all the pitfalls of writing software for software, as we call it, just because it's just so redundant and inefficient. It's lengthy and expensive, and it's difficult to maintain because they're difficult to troubleshoot. And whenever there's an update required, there's an API update, there's a lot of work that's required in order to maintain that. And all of this increases the total cost of ownership. And as your business grows and your integrations change, these becomes even more difficult to manage. We actually had a customer that went through this pain, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit. But with Saasoro, with its all configuration, no code, and the way the platform is built, I mentioned AI powered. We do use AI to really enhance our integrations and make it a lot more efficient. And one of the ways we do that is that we have automatic schema change detection. That essentially means is that that whenever there's an update with any API, we automatically we see that or it's automatically detected, and the appropriate measures are taken in order to make sure that that integrations are always up and running, and it's you never fall behind. So in a sense, in many ways, the way we built our system is so that it can be future-proof, so we can serve as many customers in multitudes of scenarios as possible. And that allows your business to be future-proof as well. Not only is your existing systems that we can integrate with, it's also if any system you're thinking about, any application your team is researching right now, we can integrate the data pretty quickly as well. We got a question about Lumi. Essentially, there's not that much difference between the two, and Rudy towards the end can go a little bit more detail. But overall, what it comes down to is handling complexity. Celigo and Lumi, they're both built, when they were initially built, they were built for a niche market. Like Celigo, as an example, is built for NetSuite, but it's very limited. So once you go beyond, by the way, they are great with simple out-of-the-box integrations. They're cost-effective, very capable. We're not, while we can do standardized integration, that's not a problem for us. What we really handle is complex integration. And you can see in this chart, as the complexity increases, Celigo and Lumi reach the limit. Reach the limit in both the handling of the complexity, but also in terms of time and time required to implement. Excuse me. and the costs associated with it. And also, if you compare, if you were to hire in-house team, it's the same story. In effect, it's the same thing. I mean, they have a team of developers that are handling your customer integrations. With us, the way our system is built, we built it so that it handles all this complexity in a fraction of the time, and that just means it's much less cost to you. So no matter how complex the customization gets, we're able to integrate that within 2 to 4 weeks of the beginning. So a couple of case studies here. So the in a retail scenario here, you essentially get near real-time customer data across all of your system. So in this case, along with your Shopify store, if you're selling on Amazon and Walmart, your own payment provider, you use Freshdesk for customer support, Shipwire, yes, and all that goes into Oracle NetSuite. Whenever there's as soon as there's a sale, all that order is or data for that order is immediately sent to fulfillment. It's real-time fulfillment status for customer support, and all that data is synchronized. All the product data is synchronized across all the systems. And again, if there's a particular case scenario where data needs to flow from one of these systems directly to another, there's no additional connections that are required. So as your integration needs increase or become more complex, with Silicon Boomi, you may require an additional connection, but with us, once we're connected, and we have access to all of the data. So that's the way it's configured. So with software customers here, again, updated financial vendor and customer information across all systems. You can immediately process proposal after close, project status available across all system, and all the product data pricing are synchronized across every one of these systems here. So a lot of these, again, like with our own experience, we were working with a NetSuite partner as well, and we were looking for certain point solutions for marketing, and we always had issues with integrating that data. We were using NetSuite as well, and we had to compromise in the solution just because they didn't have the proper integrations, or the integrations take too long, to integrate with our NetSuite system. So one of the case studies here, we had a transportation logistic customer. We were actually a subsidiary of Maersk, and they had a problem where they acquired another company. They were already in NetSuite, but this new company was not. They were on Dynamics, in fact. They wanted to bring them onboard them in NetSuite, but the problem was that all the data was siloed, and there's no way to gather that data and migrate it into NetSuite. So what we did was we came in, we created the connections between their transportation management system and there's a warehouse and logistics and warehouse management system with Dynamics, and then we prepared all that data, prepared it for the NetSuite data migration team, and then that data was able to then be prepared so that the Oracle NetSuite could be implemented and then transferred to NetSuite. And number two, one of the process that we automated for them, they had a 6-hour process to create a unified invoice. They took bits and pieces of information from Trinium, bits and pieces from Silver Bullet, and all of that information then had to be compared against a discount sheet, discount rate, and rate negotiated with a specific customer to then create a full invoice and then send it to the customer. That took about 6 hours. We managed to automate that whole process to 2 to 3 minutes. All that data is validated and then sent to NetSuite, and then the customer's invoiced. Once the customer saw what we could do for them, what they did was we had a discussion, and they told us about a problem they had where uh, uh, too often there would be a truck sent to the wrong location. A couple of times it was sent to across the entire country, across the other side of the country from where it's supposed to go. Needless to say, that caused a lot of problems, a lot of headache for our customer, and their client was extremely upset. So we looked at it and we said, look, we have all the data, we have connections to all the data, we have all this information available to us. What we could do for you is we can simply create a routing application. We can gather that data, validate data, and then send it to the drivers, send it to the corporate parties in order to be able to um, uh, to make sure that these errors do not occur. And this is an example of the extended functionality. So once everything's integrated in the centralized data integration in Saasoro, there's a lot more that you can do with the data. And so this just a matter of sitting down and discussing what the issue is, what the challenge you're facing, and how we could help. Another case study, this is a customer we had, they had a lot of legacy systems. Everything was handwritten integrations, and they were trying to go on NetSuite. And they had, it was just nearly impossible for them to move forward with the NetSuite implementation. And so what we did was, same story, we came in, created the integrations, simplified everything, prepared all that data for the NetSuite data migration team, and they were able to then send that data over to NetSuite. So now they have a true single source of truth with NetSuite, and they're able to manage all the data. With that, we'll get to Q&A. Rudy will be able to answer any questions you may have, including EDI related data. And if you have any additional questions, we want to love to get in touch with you and talk to you in more detail. And you can contact Jeff Miller, and his email's up right here, and you can contact him and schedule a call. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, there's definitely a few questions out there. So,
hi guys, I'm Rudy Thurston. I'm the excuse me, the chief technical officer for Saasoro, also the builder of the product with my team. The first question I wanted to address, Jeff was asking about how to integrate homegrown ERPs with NetSuite using Saasoro. So this is something where we see a lot of times customers coming from their own in-house built ERP or some sort of business flow management software where they need to now start to integrate that data within NetSuite. Again, our solution's highly capable of handling this. A lot of the times what we end up seeing in those integrations are the ability to move data in a one-time environment, or sometimes those business processes need to just stay in place because they handle a lot of automation for the company. And so breaking that automation might become challenging for them in the future. So we will work with our customer to really help maintain that automation and data flow in between those applications so that they can rely on the NetSuite system as their one system of truth, but still maintain all of the components of their all the components of their automation that was already there. And then the other question that came across was, can I how we work with EDI, and if there are if we can help eliminate some of the complexities within the van those van components that are a part of the EDI. So we do lots of EDI transfers. I actually have a customer that does has 150-ish trading partners, and those trading partners each have their own EDI transfer. Every single one of them is completely different, whether it's a 810 or 815. That they all have very unique and different EDI characteristics and how they handle purchase order invoicing and all the other components within there. So the Saasoro integration object sits, as we described before, in the hub-spoke relationship. The EDI or the integration objects sit in the middle between all of those systems. So we're able to use one integration point, one entry point into that integration, and allow that EDI function to happen within our system, and then transfer that information in a standardized way to ERP or to any of the other consuming systems that need that information. In that way, we can really help to eliminate the complexity of whatever van you guys are using now, or however that is being disseminated across the data flow of the enterprise. So that really helps to simplify the overall integration, especially with EDI. There's so much strange formatting and different values that come across that it becomes a very challenging. It can become a very challenging and overly complicated integration setup. Were
Anybody
there
else?
any other questions?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they were pretty chatty in the chat box, but,
Hey,
yeah,
Barbara,
anything
it's Jeff. Just wanted to hop in for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff Miller, and you can certainly reach out to me. You see my email address. I did want to say, I'm not sure if we all have end users or if we have some partners on here. You know, we can work directly with an end user, or if you are an end user and you're interested, you have a close relationship with a partner that you want us to share our story with, we can work through your partner as well. It's a white glove service, and the idea behind that is our engineers are trained to handle and support, and we will run it, run this platform for you on your behalf. And that's
Okay.
about all I had to say.
Jeff has another question. I don't know, Rudy, if you can see
Sure.
that one.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our bidirectional data movement is real time, depending, it really depends on the deployment methodology for the integration. In most cases, it will be real time, meaning that we're collecting information based on triggers and actions within the data workflows that we've defined, and that data is moved real time between the two systems. In some cases, we'll do it on a scheduled basis if there are any concerns about load times, especially during peak usage times. We can schedule them as opposed to making them event based on those triggers. So it really just depends on the deployment methodology. We've done it both ways. The only time that we've done it in a or where we've done it in a timed fashion is when we're trying to make sure that there's not an extra amount of load on the ERP system at that point in time. Some of our customers have lower tier pricing models with NetSuite, so their transaction volume can become it is something that we try to help to make sure we don't exacerbate in any way.
Yeah. And
Okay,
you
thanks.
guys will be able to, I mean, the PittNUG members can reach out to you with specific, if they want to see a specific demo or any questions related to their personal use and company, they can reach out to Jeff, or, reach out to me and I'll pass it along to Jeff or anyone. So we'll have the recording. Any further questions that we can pass along, or again, reach out to Jeff or me wanting to set up a time or anything like that. So I appreciate Bashir and Rudy and Jeff. Thank you so much for taking the time to show us your product, and you'll see a follow-up email, PittNUG members, and we'll go from there. Okay.
It's great. We appreciate the questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
everyone. Have a good afternoon. See ya.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.